So we have here the mean value theorem for integrals. So it says on the theorem that if f is continuous on the closed interval ab, then there exists a number c in the closed interval ab such that the integral of fx dx evaluated from a to b is equal to f of c times b minus a. Okay, so the f of c there can be taken from the given of f of x. So what we're going to do with the f of c is that we just replace c from the value of x. Okay, and then the b minus a there is just the closed interval. You just take the difference on that and then multiply the f of c and the difference of b minus a. Then that will be equal now to our integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. So let us try to use this formula, the mean value theorem, for our first example. So we are asked here to determine the number c that satisfies the mean value theorem for the function f of x equals x squared plus 3x plus 2 on the interval 1, 4. So to solve for that, so using the formula, so our formula says that the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b is equal to f of c times b minus a. So by substitution, the meaning of f of x is from the given. So I will just write x squared plus 3x plus 2. Don't forget to write dx. And then evaluated from 1 to 4 is equal to, so this is what I'm trying to say. The f of c is coming from f of x. What are we going to do is that replace x by c. So this becomes now c squared plus 3c plus 2 times the difference of the interval. We have b is 4, a is 1, so it becomes 4 minus 1. So after using the formula, then we are going to integrate the left-hand side. So the integration of this now is x cubed over 3 plus 3x squared over 2 plus 2x evaluated from 1 to 4 is equal to, so 4 minus 1 is just equal to 3. Then we can now multiply to the f of c. So this gives us the product of 3c squared plus 9c plus 6. Then, for the next line, we're now going to evaluate. Then, by using the fundamental theorem of calculus, we can write now 4 cubed over 3 plus 3 times 4 squared over 2 plus 2 times 4. So this is now your f of b minus the f of a. We have 1 cubed is 1 over 3 plus 3 times 1 squared is just 3 over 2 plus 2 times 1 is just 2. So that is now for the left side. And then I will just copy now the right side of 3c squared plus 9c plus 6. So 4 cubed divided by 3 is 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 64. 64 divided by 3. Okay, so it's not a whole number. So I'll just write here 64 over 3 plus 4 squared is 16. Divide 16 times 3 is 48 divided by 2. So we have here 24. So 2 plus 4 is just 8. So minus, what's the sum of 1/3 plus 3 halves plus 2. So equals 23 over 6. And then I will just rewrite the right-hand side. 3c squared plus 9c plus 6. And then simplifying the left-hand side, so I will just add. We have 64 over 3 plus 24 plus 8, and then minus 23 over 6. So it gives us the answer of 99 over 2 is equal to 3c squared plus 9c plus 6. Then we're going to equate to 0. Therefore, this can be now 3c squared plus 9c. This one, 6 minus 99 over 2. So it gives us the answer of 87 over 2 is equal to 0. So take note, we are trying to determine the number of C or the value of C. Okay, so it is the number of C there. There are two possible answers since this is a quadratic equation. At the same time, we want to know the value of C. So in that case, it would be easier to solve using the Pythagorean formula. Since the variable here is C, then I will write capital C or C alone is equal to the negative of b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we know well from our algebra that a, b, and c are the coefficients of the quadratic equations. A is the coefficient of c squared, b is the coefficient of c, and the c there in the discriminant is the constant term in the quadratic equation. So by substitution, we can write now C is equal to the negative of 9 plus and minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times your A is 3 and times C is negative 87 over 2. Then all over 2A, we have 2 times 3. So simplifying that, we have negative 9 plus and minus the square root of, so let us solve, 9 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 87 over 2. So, and that is now equal to 603. And then what is the square root of 603? So it gives us the answer of 3 square root of 67 all over 6. Since the coefficient of the radical is, we have 3, in other terms, we have negative 9 and 6, and they are divisible by 3, so we can reduce that one by writing negative 3 plus square root of 67 over 2. And the value for that now, so we have here the plus and the minus. So if we're going to separate that one now, your C sub 1 will be equal to, we have negative 3 plus the square root of 67 equals divided by 2. So the answer now will give you 2.59. And the other one, I will call this one as C sub 2. So using the negative sign, we have negative 3 minus the square root of 67 equals divided by 2. Then the answer will give us negative 5.59. Okay, now that is now the answer for number 1. So let's move on to the next slide. So average value of a function. So the value of f of c given in the mean value theorem for integrals is called the average value of f on the interval AB. Okay, the one that we have solved earlier, okay, if we are going to find the value of f of c, that is already the meaning of the average value of a function on the interval AB. So the definition of that now will give us if f is integrable on the closed interval AB, then the average value of f on the interval is given by this formula. So 1 over b minus a times the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. So let us try to use the meaning now of the average value of a function of an interval. So find the average value of the function f of x equals 3x squared minus 2x on the interval of 1, 4. So according to the formula, I will write here the abbreviation for the average function value or the average value function. They are just the same. This is equal to now to 1 over b minus a times the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. So by substitution now we have 1 over, so the value of a is 1 and the value of b is 4. So I can write now 4 minus 1. The integral of 3x squared minus 2x dx evaluated from 1 to 4. So simplifying this one, this is now 1/3 times the integration of this is x cubed minus x squared, and this is evaluated from 1 to 4. And then, so we have to evaluate it now. So by using the fundamental theorem of calculus, so we can write 1/3 times, we have upper interval is 4. So we have 4 cubed minus 4 squared. This is for your f of b minus the f of a. We have the lower interval of 1. So we have 1 cubed minus 1 squared. So by simplifying, we have 1/3 times. So let us find the answer for 4 cubed minus 4 squared. It gives us 48. And then 1 cubed minus 1 squared is 0. Therefore, we have 1/3 of 48. Then it gives the final answer of 16. So this is now the average function value of the given. So let's move on to number 2. So determine the average function value for f of x equals 8x minus 3 plus 5e raised to 2 minus x on the interval 0, 2. So similarly, this is just as the same with the number 1. So solving for that, we have the average function value is equal to 1 over b minus a. Our b now is 2, and our a is 0. So 1 over 2 minus 0 times the integral of 8x minus 3 plus 5e raised to 2 minus x dx, evaluated from 0 to 2. So this is now 1/2. And then the integral of this is the integral of 8x, we have 4x squared minus 3x. The integral of the last term, 5e raised to 2 minus x. Since the coefficient of x is -1, then it gives us the integration now of negative 5e raised to 2 minus x. So we just follow the formula that I have given to you before. And then this is evaluated from 0 to 2. So by the use now of the fundamental theorem of calculus, so we can substitute. So we have 4 times 2 squared minus 3 times 2 minus 5e raised to 2 minus 2. And then this is now our f of b minus your f of a. We have 4 times 0 squared is 0 minus 3 times 0 is 0. So I will not write anymore. Minus 5e raised to 2 minus 0. And then let us simplify. So you may use your calculator. So we have 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 we have 16 minus 6 minus e raised to 2 minus 2. It gives us e raised to 0. E raised to 0 means 1. So 1 times -5. So we have -5. And then minus e raised to 2 minus 0 is e raised to 2. Okay, times negative. Therefore, we have -5e raised to 2 times negative outside. Then this becomes now positive 5e raised to 2. So simplifying, we have 1/2 times 16 minus 6 minus 5. So will give us 5. And the second term is 5e raised to 2. You can stop here, or you can factor out 5. So we have now 5 over 2 times 1 plus e squared. So that is now the answer of number 2. Then we have to move on to number 3 and 4. We are asked to determine the average function value for the function on the given interval. So similarly, 1, 2, and 3, they are almost the same. So I will not solve now for number 3, but instead I'm going to solve for number 4. So to solve for number 4, this is quite different from 1, 2, and 3 because there is additional information that it says that determine the value or values of c in the interval -2, 3 for which f of c is equal to the average function value. To solve for this, you have the option whether you're going to solve first f of c or you're going to solve first the average function value. But for me, I'm going to start first with the average function value. Okay, so I will write now the formula for the average function value for us to solve. So the average function value is equal to 1 over b minus a times the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. So we have 1 over, your b is 3, minus negative 2, so it becomes now positive 2. The integral of 4x squared minus x plus 5 of dx evaluated from negative 2 to 3. So this is now 1 over 5. So let's take the integration for that. We have the integration of 4x squared. We have 4x cubed over 3 minus the integration of x. We have x squared over 2. And the last term it becomes 5x. And this is evaluated from negative 2 to 3. So by the use of FTC, so we can write now, we have 4 times 3 cubed over 3 minus 3 squared over 2 plus 5 times 3. Okay, that's for f of b minus your f of a. We have 4 times negative 2 to the third power over 3 minus negative 2 squared over 2 plus 5 times 2. Okay, so after writing the FTC, now we can use our calculator to solve for this. So we have now 3 cubed is 27, divided by 3 is 9, or we could say 3 cubed divided by 3 is 3 squared, and that 3 squared is 9. So 9 times 4 equals 36. Minus 3 squared is 9, so we have over 2, so 9 over 2 plus 15. 5 times 3 is 15, minus the cube of negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32, so we have negative 32 over 3. The square of negative 2 is positive 4, divided by 2 is 2, times negative is negative 2, and then plus, I guess this is negative 2 because of the lower limit. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. 10. So let us just use our calculator para we can solve earlier. I will include now 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 times, we have 36 minus 9 over 2 plus 15, then plus 32 over 3, then plus 12. 12 because 2 negative 2 and negative 10 is becomes negative 12. So negative times negative outside, that's why I said positive 12. So the answer now will give us 83 over 6. Okay, so the average function value now is 86, and we are now going to solve for f of c. So the f of c is just a matter of replacing x. Okay, from the given f of x, we replace x by c. So therefore, we have f of c is equal to the average function value. So I can write now 4c squared minus c plus 5 is equal to 83 over 6. And then equating to 0, so we have 4c squared minus c. And what's the value of 5 minus 83 over 6? So it has a difference of negative 53 over 6 is equal to 0. Now from there, we're going now to solve using the quadratic formula. So in the quadratic formula, we have there the negative of negative 1 plus and minus the square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times a is 4 and c is negative 53 over 6 all over 2 times a, which is now 4. So c is equal to 1 plus and minus. So let us solve for this. We have the square of negative 1 is 1. So we have 1 minus 4 times 4 times negative 53 over 6 equals, that is the square root of 427 over 3. 427 over 3. And then all over 8. So to solve for C sub 1, let us use our calculator again. So we have 1 plus the square root of 427 over 3 equals divided by 8. So we have the answer of 1.62. And the other one, we have 1 minus the square root of 427 over 3 equals divided by 8. So we have negative 1.37. So I guess I need to get your reaction now by solving all of this. Please paki-screenshot na for 5 to 8. And then we also have 9 to 12. The 9 to 12 is, this is similar to the last number that I have solved. And while the 5 to 8 is also, this is just a matter of average function value. Okay, paki-screenshot na yung dalawa from 5 to 8 and 9 to 12.